Hello there. My name is Tomlin Nyback, and this is 365 Days Towards Racial Change. Pleasure to see you again. Trying to speed up my timetable here a little bit. I have a little bit of reprieve, a little window to get to this 365-day challenge, this personal event. But I hope you're learning something from all this. I hope you journeyed along with me. I know there's a fan base out there. My mom and another good friend do the best they can to stay up. And I hope everybody else, maybe if you just are picking and choosing which topics appeal to you, I'm trying to cover as much as I can as it relates to Black folks. It's what we do here. We are um, measuring, explaining, commenting on the Black experience in America. Why is Black skin and white skin, different color skin colors, have such a profound impact on a person's experience inside America? I don't understand it. I don't get it. And it may just be a mystery we never get to untangling and explaining, but it's a real phenomenon. Um, and it just needs constant exploration, explanation, visibility, because it's real. People die. Recently, black man jogging in a white neighborhood. Oh boy, he gets shot up on the street. What is it about skin colors in that environment that determine the fate of three individuals? Two shooters, one dead black guy, right? And I said this before. I think I even said this recently. There are whole families, whole communities out there that have not been held accountable, that still hold the same mindset from slavery days, from the inception of America. Um, Never been held accountable, brought to justice. Um, the unsolved murders perpetrated by white folks, that has to be phenomenal. I'm hoping, like, when I cross over, when I leave this life, that everything is made known to me. Who killed Kennedy? You know, who's responsible for lynchings, time immemorial? You know, I want to know and understand it all. Seems that this side of eternity, we kind of get away with stuff. But I believe in a reckoning, a comeuppance, I'm on that list because I've got my dirt out there as well. But I've never killed anyone. On that note, what I've just said about potentially for some white folks, right? I've been the victim of overt racism, called the N-word on the street. I know what that feels like, looks like, being the only person with black skin after being attacked and beat up, surrounded by a white community that just shakes their head. When law enforcement comes up, as I explain the truth, but then they go down the street and get everybody else's story, and then they drive off. I called the police, no, they didn't check back, or they just drove off, you know. So I know what personally racism, but based on some of the things I just said, If this doesn't apply to you, just let it slide off. But what's it feel like? What's the thinking of communities and families who have um, been brutal to black people? Hey, maybe not even in this generation, right? Maybe it was your ancestors that have done this. I've read Frederick Douglass, some of his works, and he has an eyewitness account of a slave being killed with a shotgun blast to the face. That overseers never brought to justice or anything like that. The South did have laws to protect slaves, but that was just writing on the wall. You know, I don't think I can't think of anything I've ever read where some white person has been held accountable for mistreating a black slave, unless now that I think something in Harriet Beecher Stowe's book Uncle Tom's Cabin, I think she mentions somewhere in there that um, a white person is held accountable, but it's got to be rare, and it's got to be lip service. It's not something that gives you extended jail time for being white and mistreating black folks. Now you're going to see. Right now, we're going through a little thing in our contemporary time. This is early May 2020. These two white men that shot this black man in their neighborhood, and just outcry and upheaval and all this stuff. And I'm expecting that, because I've been on the planet for over 50 years, and when you see these crimes against black people, they don't come with stiff sentences or um, anything that resembles real punishment. Those kind of things are rare. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of penalties these white men give, if any. You know, it's up in the air what they're um, gonna gonna get. There's going to be a trial. Some people going through the motions, but it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of this murder out in the daylight of this black man. It's tired. It's so tired. It's so tired that this thing, racism thing, still goes on in America. You know, and black folks. What's your response going to be? I hope that I've gotten away from the drug game and stuff, so I haven't seen black disadvantage. I haven't been up against it, unless I'm out in the workforce and I see white people in ownership management, stuff like that, where no big surprise there. Black people, darker skinned people doing manual labor, the work, no surprise there. But when I was really wrapped up in the drug game and using a lot of drugs and stuff, you'd see it in the community. That was where you go to get that. Um, but I'm hoping black people, especially in this economic time, I got some episodes coming up to speak about some opportunities economically, uh, because the beast that's been running amok since this nation was created is floundering at our feet, it's mortally wounded, so to speak. You know, more than any recession, any depression, anything like that. Those instances were controllable because it was just a matter of orienting the money properly. But with this health disparity, this health element in what we're experiencing, it's a whole new element that puts a governor on all walks of life. So now that some of the equitable chances I complain and moan about are are that we can remedy them. They're within our power to change, so that as the economy comes on again, which it will, in a new way, it's going to be totally different. We're going to see more of this televideo life now, like futuristic Space Odyssey 2001 and stuff, right? Where you see on science fiction like it's just normal. We're going to see more of that normalcy of things like this real-time iteration. Today is the day I'm making this is Mother's Day, and so I was on video with the mothers in my family. My mother, little sister, and a niece, right? All these mothers, right? Videos on our holidays and whatnot. So black people have this chance, and so I'm concerned that I wish I had a bigger voice, that maybe I led a church or a national movement, and that this had come along, because this resonates right along with opportunities for black folks to really start moving. Now, because we're maybe migrating to this online economy, we might be able to say that is the ticket, that's the opportunity. We'll wait a couple episodes. I'm going to might untangle that a little bit, but let's get into it. Uh, Start with our standard introduction with some resources I want you to be aware of that inform this project, what I do, my burden. The information doesn't come from me. There's other men and women I reference that um, are much more knowledgeable than myself. One person is Dr. Claude Anderson. We reference a lot of his material here at Racial Change, and I always love to give him a shout out because his resources came into my life just at the right time. I don't know if there's maybe I should write something about this, but it was a phenomenon, just this angst, discomfort I was feeling in the system that I couldn't explain or put my finger on. But it's racism, hiding behind a whole lot of smoke and mirrors, but it's racism. And Dr. Anderson's work really explains the mechanisms, components of that. First book I read was A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice. And Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com, here on YouTube, all over the internet. He's easy to find. Behind me, you see the hashtag #US2 symbol. That's Black women response to the hashtag #MeToo movement. Now, I don't, of course, I'm not an expert on women's issues, but there seems to be some discrepancy along color lines between women, and I'm pretty sure the community here, #US2 movement, is a response to the maybe predominantly white Me Too movement. Oh, check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, a nice website, kind of a Black Facebook experience. If you've got a entrepreneurial mind, check out Dr. Boyce Watkins at the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com. And he's got some great um, resources there. Check him out. Mention my name. Tyrone Gregory, the tax guy, a real good guy. I've talked to him on the phone. Give him a shout out too. I'm not sure don't remember right now the name of his website. In upcoming episodes, I'll make sure I commit that to memory. Oh, listen. Oh, and another resource we talk about. Well, maybe we'll get back to this. We're starting to wind this project down. Harriet Beecher Stowe's great work, Uncle Tom's Cabin, fictional account of slave life, but informed by factual events. If you can't find your flavor on the internet, which the internet's got a lot of stuff, be hard not to find something to resonate. Do what I did, start your own little video blogs, logs, and stuff, and unburden yourself. You know, we have so much technology gives us less and less ability to hold on to crap. We could just unload it here. So you got an opportunity. Today, you know, we're just going to just freeform it a little bit. I don't even think I remember what I wrote in the description, but I know it's appropriate and applicable to understanding the Black challenges in America. Uh, I want people to pay attention to what's going on, especially right now. But right now, with this virus, is a very, we have so many opportunities here to reflect, to look, to pause. I know it's had a economic impact that puts us at risk, but you know it's balanced with the ability to stop and say, hey, you know, now that the machine broke, and it broke for everybody at the same time around the whole planet. I mean, we're probably never going to see this again unless human beings willingly do something drastic to put us back. And we have the power actually to do that, which is kind of scary. But for whatever reason, this disease came out on the planet, and we are uh, everything went to zero. Everything went to this mass equalization. You know, so you know, pay attention to the times. Pay attention to what's being proposed on TV, what you hear on the news, solutions that are being forwarded and presented to the world. I understand that you've got some options have opened up to you now. Look at the transparency of government. Look how government, look at the challenges the government's going through. You know, we were going through this impeachment stuff all last year, really messy, nasty, dirty, created intense polarizations. And the rhetoric we hear now between the two predominant political parties is so combative. We're hearing real warlike language, um, you know, language and conversations and painting one another as combatants in a war. I mean, if you listen close, these words are um, charged with the violence and defense and power and really slinging mud and everything. And how's that? Take it in context that the government has is tripping over itself right now, right? That this, uh, a common enemy has come upon us, but there's no, it didn't produce the kind of camaraderie, um, a national allegiance that, say, like 9/11, Pearl Harbor, right? This country, we've been sucker punched and gut punched many times, right? And it's always gotten us into a unified spirit, right? This time, no. You know, Not that probably a big part of that is the economic pressure and who has power over that. We're going to talk about this more, but just think about the economic component has revealed how power and control works in the nation, who's vulnerable, who's in power, who's pulling strings and switches, who makes life hard for those at a disadvantage. All the veneer came off because we're not so actively engaged anymore. This is a good thing. It's going to cost us, cost us economically and this is that. We got our issues and problems, but it just tore the hood off, right? It didn't. It didn't let. I mean, everything was exposed, right? I grew up with in my early days with vermin and stuff always in my environment, right? And so when you when you live in that kind of environment, you come in and you turn on the lights and you hear scatterings and skitterings all over the place because the light has exposed all this movement in the darkness. And that's the plus side of the coronavirus is that it exposed this dirt, these movements. People are, um, there's light shines on uh, all these movements, what they may call like national security issues. Well, now everybody can see, and it's we can see whose benefits and who's left at a disadvantage from from this kind of discourse in the nation. You see it in the health disparity. Right, black people um, are just getting killed. I think it's black people and Hispanics may be trading places daily, but that's what's happening. Not white folks. You see incarceration, right? Maybe blacks and Hispanics are trading places daily, but not white folks. Not the privilege, not the power, not those numerically dominant, right? It's not like statistically, mathematically, um, we get the truth, but it doesn't make sense, right? It shows you how um, how the system is not properly rigged and stacked. And now that it's happened in this way, enough black people, I hope, get the idea. So wait, you know, we're, things will get kind of to a normal someday, but we can't go back to being exploited, singled out for punishment, a dysfunction of America, selling America's drugs and stuff like that. No, no, no. We got a chance to rise up, be better right now. Um, I talked about this semester I was immersed heavily into existentialism, and this guy John Paul Sartre has has a lot to say about existentialism. One of his pet projects concerns something called bad faith. And bad faith, it deals with something he labels authenticity and inauthenticity. And it's like a good example is I had a girlfriend, right? And her mother loved to make this teriyaki steak, whatever. And I never really liked it. But when I'm at there, we go visit. I liked it. I was so-called in love with the girl and stuff. So we'd go, and her mom was excited about this teriyaki beef. Oh, yeah. So she loved it. Her mom loved it. Great. So I participated in that. I just wasn't really feeling it, right? But for me to sit down and consume the meats and participate, I'm not being authentic. I didn't like the damn stuff. I was not authentic. I was inauthentic consuming that. Right? It wasn't right or wrong, but I wasn't living my truth when I pretended to enjoy that meal. Right? It wasn't anything personal or anything. And but then I became authentic. I said, I really don't like this. And I actually said it to my girlfriend. Of course, she said it to her mom. And I was already on thin ice anyway because I had drugs and stuff going on in my life. So the relationship was probably doomed to fail. But when I became authentic, that really just took the legs right out, and relationship didn't last much longer after I became authentic. But that's the illustration with America. See, America, oh, it's a land of the free, home brave, and we're locking arms. All the commercials now are we're in this together. Boy, like that. I guess we weren't in it before. I mean, that's the truth of what they're saying. Now we're in it together. Before we were not. That's what the commercial. I'm just getting that. Oh, well, look at that serendipity just happening right here, live before our eyes. You know, we're in this together. Well, what the hell was America before the virus? Not together. You see the problem there? Authenticity, right? So, America, as much as it's a white power system created by whites, for whites, sustained by whites. And as much as it talks about equal rights, inclusivity, and all this stuff, it says it because those things don't exist. Like our commercials in today, May 2020. We're in this together. We've locked elbows. We're shoulder to shoulder. Well, we're 6 feet apart. But you get what I'm saying. We're in this together because we weren't in it together before, right? I've become sensitive to language this semester as well. Language, listen to what a person says. That'll tell you a whole lot. Anyway, don't get me started. I'm about to go off in a tangent. Maybe I need to save some of this material for tomorrow. But take time to look around. Take time to think that the beast that's been driving you for whatever reason, maybe your sex, sexual orientation, skin color, geographic location, all of that is leveled now. And you got an opportunity to create your own way, your own truth, your own success, more so now than any other point in history. That this opportunity may not come again. It's a big cost and challenge to get the whole planet to become uh, to be in a state where you really have a voice and a say in how it comes back online and together. I'm Thomas Nyback. That's day 328 out of the way. Let's keep it rolling. I'll see you next time here at 365 Days Towards Racial Change.